Let's crack open one of the most common tools on the planet, the computer. In this explainer, we're going to break down its core structure and the essential functions that actually make it work. Chances are you're using one right now. But have you ever really stopped to think about what's going on inside that box or behind that screen? It might seem impossibly complex, but the basic idea? It's actually surprisingly simple. Okay, to wrap our heads around this, we're going to use one simple analogy, a busy office. Seriously, if you can understand how an office runs, you can understand the fundamentals of a computer. So, come on, let's step inside.
All right, first things first, let's meet the team. Just like any office, a computer's core structure is really defined by its key players, the physical parts that get the work done.
And believe it or not, the whole thing really just boils down to 4 core team members. Once you get what each of them does, you'll have a rock-solid grasp of how the whole system is put together. So, sitting at the top, we have the boss, the CEO of the whole operation. This is the brain that makes all the decisions and crunches all the numbers. In computer talk, this is the CPU. So the CPU, or the central processing unit, has 2 massive jobs. First, it controls, well, everything. And second, it's the part that's actually doing the math, the processing part of its name. It's truly the engine of the entire system. Now, even the sharpest CEO can't hold every single piece of information in their head at once, right? They need a desk, a temporary workspace for whatever they're actively focused on. In a computer, we call this main memory.
And listen, the key word here is temporarily. Seriously. Like papers on a desk, main memory only holds what's needed for the current task. As soon as you close a program, you've basically cleared those papers off the desk. It's super fast and easy to access, but it is not built for long-term storage.
So, that's great for what's happening inside. But how does the office talk to the outside world? Simple. It needs a mailroom. This is where all the communication, all the input and output takes place. I/O, which just stands for input-output, is exactly what it sounds like. It's the collection of all the things that move data in and out. Think about it. Your keyboard and mouse, that's input, sending data in. Your screen and printer, that's output, sending data out. The mailroom handles it all. Okay, last piece of the structural puzzle. We've got our CEO, the desk, and the mailroom. But how do they all talk to each other? They're not just yelling across the building, right? They need hallways, pathways to connect everything. This is the system interconnection. And these hallways are what we call a system bus. You can basically picture it as a set of wires that all the major components plug into. It's the physical infrastructure that lets the entire office team work together without bumping into each other. Okay, so we've met the team. That's the structure. Now, let's take a look at what they actually do all day. This is the computer's function, its daily grind. And here's where it gets really elegant. Just like there are 4 core team members, there are 4 fundamental tasks in their workflow. And that is absolutely not a coincidence. The structure is built specifically to serve the function. Let's start with 2 of the big ones, processing and movement. Data processing. That's the CEO's job, right? Thinking, calculating, making decisions. And data movement? Well, that's all on the mailroom, getting information in from the outside world and sending it back out. The third big task is data storage. We already talked about the temporary kind, the stuff on the CEO's desk, which is our main memory. But every good office needs a long-term solution too. A big filing cabinet or an archive room. And that is your hard drive. It's where data hangs out even after you shut the power off. But hold on. With all this processing, moving, and storing going on, what keeps it from being total chaos? Who makes sure everything happens in the right order at the right time? Well, that brings us to the 4th and maybe the most critical function of all, control. So inside our COU, the CPU, there's this special little department called the control unit. You can think of it as the office manager. It's the one that reads the to-do list, the program instructions, and then directs traffic, telling everyone else what to do and when. It keeps the whole operation running like a well-oiled machine. All right, let's put it all together. Time to look at the final office blueprint, where we'll see exactly how the team and the tasks line up perfectly. So take a look at this. This chart gives you the whole picture. You can see the CEO, our CPU, is doing the heavy lifting, both processing and control. And then everyone else has their clear roles. The desk for that temporary storage, the mailroom for moving data. See? Every single part of the structure has a very specific job to do. And really, that's the main thing to remember here. The team, the structure, and the workflow, the function, are completely inseparable. You can't have one without the other. They are two sides of the very same coin.
You know, it's pretty wild when you think about it. Every single thing you do on a computer, from complex software and incredible video games to all this mind-blowing AI stuff, it all runs on these exact simple principles. This little office model we just walked through, it's the blueprint for our entire digital world. So the only real question left is, what's it going to build next?